So Brendan's client's been in the hunt for 2 months, right? And let's assume that um, they don't find anything in the next 30 days. And they've created a budget and a wish list and a want list and everything based on the fact that Brendan's going to get paid by the seller, right? And so now
Correct.
suddenly, overnight, right, like Brendan can't go ask them to now pay, $18,000 because that's just not on their radar. That's just not part of their metric, for lack of a better term. So, now there's this huge problem, this huge impasse. And that's why when you guys are chasing listings, you absolutely positively have to, work on that cooperation. And I'd tell you, I'm not going to mess around. I leaned in hard on these people. I said, you know, we went through the whole spiel, and I'm not going to go through the whole spiel because I want to talk about some other things. But we went through the whole spiel, and the general overall message from me was, you're going to pay it. I don't give a shit what you've heard, what you've read, what you think you're wrong, and you're going to pay it. Like if you don't pay it, it's going to cost all of us money. Me, you, it's going to cost everybody money, and it's not going to sell. And that is until it really comes up and kicks me in the head, that is going to be my approach. And I'm not going to be that guy that is like, well, yeah, okay, we can pay 0.5%, or, we don't have to pay it. We'll let them figure it out and it'll all be okay. And they're going to come buy the listing anyways because it's a seller's market. None of that is true. It's just not. I'm telling you right now, it's not. And before we switch gears, I'll give you one last tidbit. And I've said this 100 times before. And I said this, let me make sure nobody else wants in. I said this to those people. I said, look, I understand it's a seller's market. I understand there's no inventory. I understand that that's why buyers are flocking to these listings and forking out money to pay, forking out money to pay. Did you hear what I just said? Buyers are flocking to the listings and forking out money to pay. Hold on, I gotta let somebody in. There we go. Forking out money to pay all of these prices. Buyers. At the end of the day, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, or a group of three of you that are investors, you are not paying me and you are not paying them. They are paying me and they are paying them because the buyer is the one with the money. You're the one with the product. They're the one with the money, right? So the disbursement on that escrow closing statement that shows where the money goes, who brought the money? They did. If you piss off the people that bring the money and you alienate the people that bring the money, we aren't going to have to worry about arguing who's paying what commission because it won't even be an issue. Okay?
What happens if you have a listing before it changes? That's offering co-op, you have to change it.
Yeah, that's a great question. What happens if you have a listing that offers co-op before it changes? The thought today, and this could change tomorrow now that the DOJ is back in full swing, but the thought today is those listings have signed agreements that offer co-ops predating the enforcement of the judgment, and that is a contract, and therefore those listings will not change. Those listings will be able to offer a co-op commission. However, you won't be able to list that on the MLS. We'll have to communicate that in another way. All right. So, good. Got a good group. Here we go. You got my little thing in the notice that said I completed my agent audit. Why do you think that I did an agent audit? Anybody have any idea? I will tell you why, and this will probably be a shock to you as much as it was a shock to me when I realized it, and that is the year's half over, right? It's June. I think yesterday I realized, holy crap, it's June. The year is half over. The second half of the year, we all know the second half of the year is going to go faster than the first half. I'm behind. My projections are off to meet my goals, my personal goals. So am I 50% of goal at this point in time? No, I'm not. So I have to do something different, right? If I continue on the same pace that I am so far this year, I'm not gonna reach my goal because the year's half over. I know it feels like March, but it's June. I know what you're gonna say, but Damian, it's not technically half over because it's not half over until June's gone. Well, you're wrong because you're forgetting about the fact that we have to factor in the what I call the Thanksgiving and the Christmas effect, which is basically we lose a month of business. So the year's half over. Now, June 1st, it was half over. So what I had to do, and I went through this process. And one of the reasons I went through this process is because Brendan called me out the other day. I went through the whole process and looked at my business cold, ground up, foundation up. I'll share all this with you. I've already shared all this with you, but I'll share it with you again and we'll breeze through it real quick. But I started first things first, I look at profile. All right. I always yell at you guys about profile. I looked at profile. I looked at my profile, Googled my name, found some inconsistencies. I went and I fixed them. One of the things that I had to do to fix it was the item that Brendan called me out on. It was homes.com, right? Homes.com used to be a non-player. Now, if you Google anything, homes.com comes up first. They're spending millions and millions of dollars at the corporate level to try and take market share. So the first thing that comes up on Google for me is an outdated website that no longer exists and a picture that looks like, I don't know what the hell I was thinking when I took that picture. Okay. Everything else is consistent and great, but that's the first thing everybody sees. Like, who the hell is this guy? And here I am yelling at you guys, same picture, same words, same picture, same words, same picture, same words. And the first thing that comes up for me is wrong. So I had to call homes.com. I actually had to call them and yell at them and have them fix it. They were pulling data from somewhere. I don't even know where. They couldn't explain it to me, but they were pulling data from somewhere that was old. Right? So we got it resolved. I hope. I'll check it again tomorrow and see. Did that. Then I went back and I started looking at, okay, how do I operate? Do I operate on a daily basis? Do I run my business the way that I preach to run my business? And I went through that whole process that I'm going to show you guys. I consolidated it for you that I'm going to show you guys. This is what I want you to do. Okay? This is what I want you to do. I don't think there's anybody, not only on this meeting, but in this brokerage, I don't think there's anybody that is satisfied. I know there is. I know there isn't anybody that is satisfied with their track of with their projection of how they're going to wrap up this year. I know that to be true because I talk to you guys and I know what you want to do versus where you are, and you're not projecting to finish where you want to finish, just like me. Okay, you're not the only one. I'm not projecting to finish where I want to finish. I'm selling stuff, okay, but I've got goals and I've got things that I want to do, and I'm not going to make it unless I do something different. All of you, I shared with you a folder in Google Drive called New Agent folder or something like that. Hold on a minute. I'm going to jump on a screen share here, and we're just going to go through it. Desktop here. Share it. Okay. Say okay to that. You're screen sharing. All right. Let me move this box a little bit. 01 New Agent Docs. So if you go into your Google Drive, what you're going to find, and you click the shared with me button. Let me show you where that is. Right here. If you open up Google Drive and you click this shared with me section, you're going to find all the stuff that somebody has shared with you, right? My stuff being in there. So that's a quick way to find it if you don't know where it is right now. And then you can sort it to somewhere if you want to sort it to somewhere so that it's easier to find. But you all have access to this whole folder. And the reason I think it's important, after I modified it today, was it's not just the new agent folder. I feel like it's the reset folder. So here's what I want you to do, exactly what I did. I want you to go through this thing, and I want you to start cold. Say, take a look at my business from the foundation up and what I'm doing so that I can immediately affect a different track or a different projection for my year end. You can start with your agent initial profile. That was my agent audit. I Googled every single one of you. I scrolled through it and take a look at what you're doing, how you appear. Because like I said, when you're out there competing and when you're trying to earn business, when you're trying to compete for business, if you can't make it through that first filter, you're not going anywhere, right? All of you failed. Some of you at higher degrees than others. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a take a harder look at it and make some adjustments. Everything you need is in this agent initial profile setup document. Tell you what to do, how to do it, where to do it, you know, as far as like primary places. And there's new stuff coming up all the time that we want to make sure that our profile's clean on. That's why I say that you have to Google yourself once a week. There's something new that I found today that I'm not sure I like, and I think they're just trying to rip us off money. It's called Experience Net or something. Every one of your names, it came up on my name too as an incomplete profile. When you Google yourself and when you start working on profiles, stay away from that until I can figure out what it is, or some of us can figure out what it is, because I'm not quite sure it's not just a money grab. Okay. Also in here, we did this at the beginning of 24, but there's no reason that we can't look at it again. This was our 24 jumpstart document. We said, if we do these things, we think that we're going to be in a position to prospect more business, get more closings. I took a look at this today and realized, yeah, I've got some things that are missing that I need to be doing on a more regular basis. Okay. I promise you, part of my agent audit was looking at stuff that's on here. You guys aren't doing that. So you're missing opportunity. This is not to tell you you're a horrible person or not to tell you you're doing a crappy job. This is to say, hey, look, there's good news here. There's opportunity that's not being tapped. I can do better on my agent initial profile checklist. I can have a better forward-facing and more client qualifying online presence. I can do better with my jumpstart plan. There's some pieces that are missing that are probably going to generate business for me, right? Just take an objective look at where you are and what you're doing versus what's on those documents, and the things that are missing, those are opportunity. Those are missed opportunities. Missed opportunities are new business, guys. That's how we get new business. Then we've got our top fives, right? I threw our top fives into this folder too, because I think the top fives for me are always a really good quick reset. I can look at the top 5 actions to a transaction. Remember, this was a meeting topic in and of itself. And I can say, hey, am I doing this? Right? We all agreed when we had the meeting that these were all great ideas, right? When we had the profile meeting, everybody said, hell yeah, that's a great idea. We had the jumpstart meeting. Everybody said, hell yeah, that's a great idea. We had the top 5 actions to transactions meeting. Everybody said, hell yeah, that's a great idea. Right? And we were right. They are all good ideas, but I know what happens. We get busy, life comes along, other clients come along, we put this stuff to the back burner, and that's why it never gets done. And because it never gets done, we aren't developing that funnel the way that we should be developing that funnel. I'm not exempt from this. Okay, I'm not picking on you. I'm as guilty of letting this crap slide as anybody else. But we're going to take some action, or I'm going to take some action. I'm going to do better because I want to finish out stronger than I am. Our top 5 reasons to pay a buyer's commission or buyer's commission if you're a seller. We don't need to talk about that right now, but I threw that one in there because I feel like that's going to be a conversation we have at least twice a week moving forward, at least twice a week.
Will you have it with me when I list my house?
I will have it with Cindy when she lists her house.
I'll pay.
Cindy's getting ready to list her house. Yeah, you're paying. You're damn right you're paying, or I'm not working, you're open. I swear I won't do it. Okay, so 5 practices for immediate change. I've got to reset on this too. I mean, I started out the year, I got to admit, I started out the year doing great. Now, I'm going to be honest, man, I'm sleeping in. I'm skipping my workouts, right? But the sun stays up for a long time now, okay? And I'm still not making the sundown rule. The one thing I do say that I am pretty good at, because I have, severe fear of poverty, is treat real estate like it's a job you think you're going to lose. I approach this job every day like, man, if I don't hustle today, everything's going to go badly. I'm going to lose this job. But take a look at those.
Yeah, that's great.
And all of these things that we're doing, let's do this before I go there. All these things that we're doing, let's go to this. Don't forget the top 5 words that you should drop from your vocabulary right now, right? Whenever things are going poorly for me, whenever things are getting stressful for me, I find myself wanting to use these words, okay? Let's just cop out, chicken, you know what, wimpy, useless vocabulary. We need to drop that from our vocabulary. We read this document first, and then we go chase the rest of the documents, okay? All of this stuff that we're talking about takes time, and it takes time that you have to dedicate outside of what you're doing. So remember what we talked about a long time ago, and that is scheduling a half-hour block 3 to 5 days a week for growth. I call it growth. You guys remember that? When we talked about scheduling the growth time, where you worked on nothing but growth. You can't answer email during that block. You can't answer email. You can't do other tasks. You can't do like transactional type tasks or cleanup tasks. You can't do that. You have to work on things that will create growth in your business. That's these things that we're talking about right now. These documents and these lists are absolutely growth time projects, right?
Respect the green time.
Go ahead, Michael. What?
You got to respect the green time. The green time, 8 to 5. Sometime in there, like you said, if it's scheduled, you got to have the green time. If you don't have the green time,
yeah, mine's actually orange. Mine's orange time. So
yeah, of course.
It's an orange time block on my calendar, and it's on there every day. It's 7 to 7:30 a.m. every day, and I need to do a better job of respecting that, because I've found other ways to fill that time. So, and look what happens, right? I find other ways to fill that time. I let the stuff on this on these lists that we all decided and agreed were important and valuable. I let that stuff slide, and I'm like, oh, where's my pipeline? What's going on? Okay, what's happening? It's a horrible feeling. Okay, the other thing that I want to remind you guys about is, where is it? How do I get out of here? Well, I don't know that I can. Here we go. And I just shared this with all of you too. So this will also be in your shared file. These are the recording links and the passwords since I started recording them from our Thursday meetings, right?
Cool, thank you.
So we cover a lot of good stuff in here that I think is easy to forget, right? So that's why I decided, well, we're going to start doing a cloud recording, and then we're going to put it on a spreadsheet so we can go back and we can look at it and we can remember. How many of you has anybody rewatched anything that we've recorded to the cloud? Yeah. Okay. I would take a hard look at generic buyer presentations. I would rewatch that one. I would rewatch how to prospect. Right? So those are the things that we're kind of talking about in this session. We're talking about getting our presence and our forward-facing stuff up to par so that we look legitimate. We're talking about habits and schedules and things that create pipeline business for us and create closings. That is kind of like prospecting for me, right? So I rewatched that one. So a lot of work, but not a lot of work if you're doing it on a, growth time period basis, 5 days a week, 3 days a week, 5 days a week, something like that. So you guys don't talk all the time. And I know some of us are driving, so we probably can't talk right now. But what I want to know is, I know how I struggle with getting focusing time for some of this stuff. What are some of the things that are preventing you guys from getting this stuff done and moving forward with it? What are some of the obstacles or some of the problems of why it's not happening? Because I got to tell you, I know I pick on you a lot. I'll say it again. I said it at the top. I'll say it again. I know I pick on you a lot. And I know I hammer a lot. And I know we spend a lot of time on me saying, you have got to get your crap cleaned up online. You got to do it. And like I said, everybody failed, including me. Some of us at larger degrees than others, but none of us have it right. And that tells me two things. Tells me, number one, we're not getting it done right, but it also tells me, number two, something more important. We're not checking, right? Because if I'm Googling myself every week like I'm supposed to be doing just to double check real quick to make sure everything's okay, I don't have that problem that I had because I knew it was an issue. I would have known it was an issue and I would have addressed it, right? So talking about profile, let's focus on a couple of things. Let's talk about profiling. Let's talk about posting. Okay, and when I say posting, pick a platform. I really don't care what, but just posting generically. And let's talk about electronic prospecting. The electronic prospecting being KV core type based stuff. Where are we? I already know where we are. Where are we? What are the roadblocks? What do we need to do? Okay, what is it? June 6th? What do we need to do to be ahead of this thing as individuals and as a group? What do we need to do to have this conversation kind of behind us by June 15th? What needs to happen? What do you need help with?
I started
Yeah, go.
thing, the Meta Business Suite. You can plan out the whole year. And so, with the KV Core, sometimes I'm like, I don't have anything to post. I'm like, well, just post a landing page. Use one of those robots. Market report. Anything on there. What do you call it? A squeeze page. And so I'm like, okay, I got like 5 things I could post, and I came up with 7. I could post this. I could post a market report for Elk Grove every day. I could post a market report for Sacramento. I mean, every week, right?
Yep.
So I got 7 days. Every Sunday I can post this. It's okay. So now, you just gotta sit there and type it all in. So Jeffrey, I'm like,
so what Michael's talking about, you guys, is social media. If you have professional accounts on social media, there's a thing called Meta Business Suite. which will take your Facebook account, your Instagram account, and it'll bring it up in a calendar format, and you can set up posts on days and times, whatever you like. You can set up stories, days and times, whatever you like. So, Michael, what I hear you saying is that really there's no excuse for it, because I've used Meta Business Suite a lot, and I know that I can do a whole week's worth of stuff in about 30 minutes, right? So that's a great tool to use and to use for it. Let me jump in on social media. On one of those documents, it talks about social media, and it says, be friends or be connected to everybody in our offices, number one. And then it lists, I think, 5 of the corporate bigwigs from NextHome. And the reason that I wanted you connected to the corporate bigwigs at NextHome is you can steal their stuff, right? Like, they post all the time. They literally post all the time because I think they have somebody doing it for them. Okay. And their stuff is really, really good, and you can steal it and repost it if you want to. Thanks, Michael. What else?
If I unmute myself, it might be echo.
Well, I'll turn down. Hold on. Okay, go.
Can you hear me?
Well, I'm on mute.
I am.
Everybody hear Cindy?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
They're singing.
Hi, Jack.
Hi, Jack.
So, so what I
What I
did,
did on my profile, and I probably need to tweak it because I think I
had some websites that had something different, but I used AI. I wrote out
what I wanted to say, and then I used AI, and it retweaked it, and it was better written for both notary and real estate. But I don't think they're consistent on every platform. I didn't quite finish that. I don't know. I have to go back and look, but it was helpful, I thought, because I'm not a great writer.
Okay, you think.
So you used AI like Chat GPT to write your bio. Okay. Okay, I'll cop to it. I used Chat GPT to write my last listing description. I'm not gonna lie.
A lot of agents are doing that.
I said I would never do it, and I did it. So yeah, absolutely did it. Absolutely did it. Good. Good. What else? What's keeping us from getting this stuff done? What's keeping us from getting profiles done? What's keeping us from getting the prospecting stuff done in KV Core? What are the roadblocks? What's up, Steve? What are the roadblocks? What do we need to do to put all of this crap behind us by the 15th and be then talking about next level stuff or other stuff? Oh boy, there he is. There he is. Everybody.
Cujo.
He's all man. Look at him. All man.
I don't want to see his man.
Yeah. Anyway, Steve, how you doing getting caught up on your profiling and your reviews and all of that stuff? You said that was really important last week. Are you having trouble finding time to get it done?
This week I have.
Yeah.
Reviews, those
Kind of a loaded question. I knew about your week, so it was kind of a loaded question.
The reviews will come out this week. I'll get those done. As in profiling, I think I've got all my, you're talking about having your images and your statement of you all one, correct?
You were only a moderate failure. You missed that beginning of that. I audited everybody in the brokerage. Audited everybody today, and we all failed at different levels, including me. I failed too. You are actually in pretty good shape, but you need to take a look at Realtor.com and Zillow.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But yeah, your website branding, couple of other places that you popped up in, very consistent, same picture, same words. Oh, also, yeah, on Zillow, it lists your old brokerage.
Really?
Yep, it does. So,
well, that's Zillow for you.
Realtor.com and Zillow were your only two mishaps. It's just too damn bad that those are the two biggest ones.
Par for the course, man. Hey. Yeah, I actually just got off of the phone with the title company.
Oh, good. Yeah,
And,
I bet that was fun.
No, she's been blowing up Montana to sign, and I was trying to give him time to rest so that he could be ready. Oh my God.
Real estate veterans, I'll just say this. Steve has had one of those weeks. I can tell you that.
This is Steve.
Mute yourself. We don't want to hear him yelling at the title company. All right. What else? Did we lose Brendan? Did he go show? Brendan went and showed. Jess, you got anything to add?
I showed my excuse.
Yeah, right. That's a, oh boy. Yeah, that's an,
Probably big.
you know, he's not, there's nothing big about him.
Oh,
He's
okay.
tiny. He's a little puppy.
Oh, I don't know why it looked like the bottom. Your head was up.
Yeah. So I know it's hard, you guys. And I know we've talked about it a lot, but I need to let you know that we're not there yet. You're not there yet. It's going to cost you business. It's going to cost you opportunity. I want you to stop what you're doing. Okay. I want you to maybe drink some water. And then I want you to start from the bottom up with your business. Start with profile. Start with your scheduling. Start with your KV core. Go through it like it was brand new. Go through it like it was week one. Okay. Double check it. Tune it up. And then jump into 5 steps to five actions to a transaction. Okay. But you have to get that other stuff done first, or you won't pass the test. Best example I can give you. Everybody see the listing I put on today? Great listing, right? Great price. Lots of traffic, lots of traction. Phone call from a buyer who I won't deal with, but from a buyer. She's asking questions, gets to the point where she says she's looking for an agent, right? Maybe she will want to use me. And I swear, she says, well, you know, I Googled you. And I checked out your profiles and I checked out your past sales and listings. And, you know, it looks like you're pretty qualified and you're pretty good at what you do. And I said, I am, absolutely. And I'm glad that you did Google me, but I need to make clear to you that I don't do dual agency. So if you want to buy this house, you can't use me, and I will have to refer you to the puppy. The puppy will be your agent. But they do it, you guys. They absolutely do it. I am not kidding. I'm not making this up. That's how she qualified me. Google. Okay. So if we're not set up to pass the test, what are we leaving on the table? Right? I mean, on that particular transaction, representing a buyer that's successful in purchasing the transaction, that's $17,500. Okay. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to refer it, but I'm not going to do that. But how many $15,000, $17,000 opportunities are you giving up potentially because you're not making it past the first filter? Because you're not consistent. And you want to know the shitty part about it? You have no idea. You don't know. You don't know how many times you've lost the opportunity. You don't know how many of those you've given up because they don't tell you. They don't tell you. They just don't call or they just don't text, right? They don't call you, Steve, or text you, Steve, to say, you know, Steve, I was thinking about using you, but I Googled you and didn't get a good vibe. I just want to let you know that. They don't do that. They just
Today
move
they
on.
would. They would today. Guaranteed. All week.
Yeah, you're probably right. But they just move on. Okay. So your friends, your associates, your people in your sphere, don't think that they're exempt from it. Okay. Don't think that they're exempt from it. They're going to check you out before they decide to use you for what could be the largest purchase they ever make in their life. They're going to check you out. I promise you they're going to check you out. In 20 years, I have had enough experience with friends and family members that have used another agent. Okay. It's happened to me more than one time. Okay. I'm not saying it's because they Googled me and they didn't like what they saw. But what I am saying is you can't take anything for granted. You can't take for granted, well, I don't need to tune up profile because I'm going to work my sphere and my sphere already knows me. No, they're going to look. Okay? They're going to look. I mean, be honest. Let's say that all of you are going to buy a fishing cabin in Montana. Okay? You're going to buy a fishing cabin in Montana. And you have a friend that moved to Montana a couple of years ago, and that's what's got you interested in Montana in the first place. Seeing their posts on social media, you know, Yellowstone thing, they're doing all of it. And you think, I'd like to have a fishing cabin back there in Montana. And I know that Joe's selling real estate out there right now, but you know, he hasn't been doing it very long. He hasn't been doing it very long. And I don't know what I'm doing out there. I know real estate, but I don't know what I'm doing in Montana. So I want to make sure that I get taken care of. I mean, you're just going to go to him blind? You're going to go to Joe blind and trust him? No, you're not. You're going to Google his ass. You're going to see what he's been doing. You're going to see how many transactions he's been doing. You're going to see what kind of bio he's got and what his experiences are and everything else. And if you decide not to use Joe because you don't like what you see, and you decide to start communicating with another agent in Montana, and this other agent's sending you listings and you're working on it and you know you're going to buy something at some point, tell me the truth. Are you going to call Joe and let him know, hey, just a heads up, I was going to use you, but I checked you out and I didn't really like what I saw, so I decided to use Fred instead? You're not going to do that. Neither is anybody in your sphere. Neither is anybody that you're associated with. They're not going to do it unless you're having Steve's week, and then they're going to call you and tell you exactly why you're a POS. Okay?
I have 4 agents in Tennessee. You know, not one of them has called me to follow up, and the one with NextHome, she never followed up.
Do you hear that? Do you hear what Cindy said, guys? She's got 4 agents looking for her in Tennessee. None of them have called her to follow up one time. The NextHome agent she's dealing with in Tennessee has not called to follow up with her at all.
The new home sales, they're on it. These people are on it, not the resale.
You guys hear that? The new home seller people, the car salesmen that sell houses, they're calling her back. Uh-huh.
Crazy.
Uh-huh. Going okay there, Jess? She's diving out of the way. Okay. 41. Anything to add? Any questions? 15th of June is agent audit number 2. Right? This is not a threat. This is a challenge. This is a call to action. Show me what you got. Show the world what you got by the 15th of June. Okay? By the 15th of June. Deal? Then we can go next level and we can start talking about other things and don't have to worry about you wasting your time and energy because someone's just going to drop you anyways because you look like crap online. Okay? Your presence is everything. Your branding is everything. It's everything. Why do you think NextHome is so picky about their branding guidelines? It's everything. Okay? Take a little time, take a little pride, brand yourself properly, get it straightened out, make it look good. Make the world see what you are, and that is someone that cares about what they're doing, that wants to do a good job, that wants to help people, and is professional and ready to do that. Okay, don't look like some schmo. That is the exact opposite. All right. Anything else? If not, I'm gonna press the button.
Actually, on the branding part,
Yeah, go.
make sure any of your old branding is deleted.
Yes.
Because actually, the neighbor down the street had his house for sale. It didn't sell, so he's been repainting the outside, repainting the inside, and I went down there to talk to him. He'd already got a new agent to relist it. And I go, did you know I was an agent? And he goes, I thought you just did flipping and wholesaling
Because of
because of my truck.
yeah.
And I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yep.
that is going to have to come off the back of my pickup truck.
Or you got to have some kind of co-branding. You know?
Something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to have some kind of something. Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, it actually bit me in the butt.
Yep. Yep. I know. I mean, I've had it too. I've got an old company. That branding's out there, still floating around in the world. You know, I've had to I run into it too. So I get it. Okay. Anybody else? Anything else? Okay. Got your marching orders. Set your growth time. Get that stuff done. See you guys later.
Beer 30.